it's hard to fathom that you could be listed as an old timer. But one of the things I want to ask you, because I remember, when we spoke about your book and the time you talked about the time you spent in that batting cage while guys were riding their bicycles to school. Given all the technology that's available to ball players today, do you think your career, as great as it was, could have even been better, or do you think all that information might have been a disservice?
Interesting question. I'd like to think that I was somewhat more self-aware and understanding of my limitations and my strengths, and I was able to take information and sort of not put too much an emphasis on it, but try to use it as a tool. I think you have to be somewhat pragmatic about it, because at the end of the day you still have to execute as a player. But I think we're in an age with computers and processing and super processing and analytics and all kinds of statistics that unfortunately you have to be able to draw a balance and see what helps you and what you need to just go out and execute on.
I know your dad was a huge fan of the game. I'm just wondering, when you were younger, did you go to Old Timers days?
Yes.
And which was the player that you cherished the most? Because you know how many fans here today are coming just to see you, different players. Which was your one guy that you had to see, and why?
Well, I mean, I grew up in Philadelphia, and so the Phillies teams of the 70s were very special to me. I mean, it was the teams I grew up watching. So, the Mike Schmidts and Boas and Gary Maddox and Bob Boone and Carlton and those guys. Those were the guys I grew up watching. So I enjoyed the few times in Philly when they brought those guys back.
Take a look at this team, and it can be comparisons to your National League Championship teams as well as the '86 team. When you watch this team, what's the one characteristic that you think they have similar to your team, or maybe even the '86 team?
Well, I mean, it's obvious that the team doesn't roll over and die. I mean, they fight back, and the game last night was an indication of that. And they play for each other. They don't play for themselves. They play for their teammates, and I think teams that are successful have to do that. They have to have one heartbeat and never say die, and understand that you're only as good as the weakest link on the team. So guys pick each other up and support each other, and that's really cool to see.
And lastly, did you put in a preparation to be able to squat behind the plate?
I swung a little bit just because I don't want to get hurt. I mean, but what can you do? At this point, I don't think anything I do is going to make me any better or worse. So I just don't want to get hurt. So I did some stretching and swung the bat a little bit just so I don't blow out my back. And we'll let it fly. Have fun.
Awesome. Thanks.